Young Talent Time. It started out as a 3-month fill-in and went on to enjoy an 18-year reign. And tonight a very special reunion, a 40th anniversary party.
I've never experienced anything like it, and I probably never will again.
Well, in the time I was there, it meant everything. It meant everything. It was my life.
Babies everywhere.
I enjoyed the whole thing. I enjoyed every bit of it.
They're a little older, but the faces are still familiar.
It's Young Talent Time.
40 years ago, a low-budget talent show made its debut on Australian television and went on to make history.
Starring Johnny Young, with a little help from his friend, the Young Talent Team.
Wouldn't you like to ride in my beautiful balloon?
It was supposed to run just 13 weeks, but Young Talent Time was such a hit, it continued for the next 18 years. Over 804 episodes, we watched 42 talented youngsters sing and dance every Saturday night. And the king of the kids was Johnny Young.
I was offered the opportunity to host this program, and I thought, well, if it lasts 13 weeks, that'll be fun. But right from the very first episode, we won the ratings.
And she took my hand and walked through the park with me.
For the first time, the cast of Young Talent Time are back together for this exclusive reunion. And they sound as good as ever.
1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up and away, my beautiful balloon.
These are our 6 young talent members, and I'd like you to meet them because they're very talented people. Firstly,
Phillip Gould was one of the originals.
When she is not around, falling in love again.
None of us knew what to expect, and suddenly we start getting fan mail and all this, all this wonderful stuff.
Jane said, "Don't ask me any difficult questions."
So was Jane Scali, who was just 8 years old and nervous as hell.
That's my most terrifying moment, was that very first time that you said to me, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
I asked her a really difficult, deep and meaningful question because I was like a 60 Minutes reporter. How old are you? Right?
Let me ask you to your face, do you think you love me?
In those early days, there were no scripts. It was raw and it was live.
It's such a lovely feeling.
And before our eyes, a star was born.
And I love all the games we are playing.
Jamie Redford was just loved because of his wonderful voice, and he was only with us for a year, and then he went off to America.
And that little boy, that Jamie, he's fantastic. I'd like to take him back to the States.
Liberace whisked 14-year-old Jamie to the US for an 18-month tour. In years to come, YTT would produce even more superstars.
If this world makes you crazy and you're taking all you can bear.
I debuted with Dannii Minogue in 1982. We sang Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And I don't, 'cause all I want is you.
Singing alongside a very young Dannii Minogue was Mark McCormack.
I was 12, Dannii was 11. We were nervous as hell, the bright lights, being on stage with all these guys that you watched every week, and you're with them, and it's like, it doesn't compute, you know.
And then there was the little Italian girl with a big voice.
Tina is one of the world's great singers. Not one of Australia's great singers. She's one of the world's great singers. She's a diva.
By God, if it wasn't for Young Talent Time, I wouldn't be sitting here in a studio in Paris and being able to sing in 4 languages and, travelling the world and creatively, working with different people.
One of the things that was really good about Young Talent Time was as much as we rehearsed and we were very professional, people loved the fact that Tina never knew her dance routines.
Yellow brick road, fun life.
John Bowles was another talented cast member. He interviewed Tina and Dannii for his 2003 documentary about the show.
Some of the costumes were provocative, and of course, because I always wanted to sing the Madonna songs and got that slot. I mean, she was always, prancing around in a bustier and whatever. So that's what I wanted to wear, like every other 12-year-old in Australia that wanted to be Madonna.
Is it true that she wanted to sing like a virgin and you wouldn't let her?
We were very careful never to cross a certain line. You know, you don't sexualise young people.
I don't know how to love.
We were very careful with Young Talent Time, believe it or not, about the way that we chose songs. When Jesus Christ Superstar was on and Deborah Byrne was singing I Don't Know How to Love Him, there's a line in that song that goes, and I've had so many men before in many, many ways. And I would force them to change the word to I've had so many friends before.
And everyone knows second-hand road.
Karen Knowles was another favourite who went on to record gold records after her time on Young Talent Time.
With these cameras, you're not aware what they're really doing, and you're just in this big studio and you just got no idea that there's all these people on the other end just enjoying singing, you know, that's what we did.
So I smile and say,
One of the most inspirational team members was Stephen Zammit, a heartthrob with an amazing voice. Many never realised he spoke with a stutter.
How was it? It was difficult, it was scary, but there was one rule that I placed upon myself, and that was that I was never going to back down. I was going to face it. I often used to say, if the whole world could sing every time it spoke, I would have lived in the perfect world.
Yeah. I think you're wonderful, Steve.
so do I, John.
ABBA was the big thing, and I had the long blonde hair that you could sit on. So, yes, Stevie and I were, you know, doing all the duets for ABBA. I've still got them on
I think so. I think
tape. I've still got them on tape.
I'm an old guy now.
Nicole Cooper replaced Sally Boyden on the show. By the ripe old age of 11, Sally had a hit record and decided to retire from YTT to pursue a singing and acting career in Hollywood.
Oh, Lassie, how'd you get away?
I think it was refreshing, it was innocent, and I think that we were all pretty talented, and we didn't know what the heck we were doing, but we just did it anyway.
When your heart is full of love, you're 9 feet tall.
Was it hard work?
It wasn't hard work, because I love doing it.
Well, it was hard work. Where are you going? What planet did you fall from? Are you serious?
I think we thought of it as work back
Child, we didn't.
Basically,
We saw more of each other than we did our own
Security.
family.
Hard work. It was hard work having Young Talent Time rehearsals to go to, doing your school studies, and then on the weekend doing Young Talent Time, and then on top of that having to deal with the fact that you were a famous person on television. It's not an easy job when everywhere you go people recognise you.
Go to Macca's. Remember, a few of us would go together, and they'd come up with the serviette and say, "Can I have your autograph?" And you'd be signing the serviette at McDonald's.
Debbie Hancock and Mark McCormack remember what it was like to be teen idols.
You'd buy a pair of school shoes and there'd be 15 people just staring at you from outside the shop or inside of the shop. Sometimes I was too scared to come in. It was a bizarre experience for a 12-year-old. It freaked me out.
Greg Poynton performed in countless live concerts around the country. Tens of thousands of fans would show up, desperate to catch a glimpse of their favourite young talent timer.
One of the crazy experiences we had was at Parramatta shopping centre when we did some concerts, and some people actually got hurt because there was such mayhem.
Police had to close off all streets leading into the shopping town as 15,000 fans tried to cram into the centre.
I would love to say I didn't love it, but I really did love it.
Beven Addinsall and Lorena Novoa joined the cast in later years. But one of the show's biggest heartthrobs of all time was Joey Perrone. But being such a big star didn't mean he had an easy time at school.
we had ups and downs, you know. We had troubles at home as well, you know, fighting with our brothers and sisters. You know, troubles at school where, you know, I'd sit in the courtyard and kids would throw tennis balls at me while I was eating my lunch.
Okay, so who had a crush on who and who pashed who on the show?
All right, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you, I had a crush on Karen. Huge crush on Karen.
You never patched her.
Never patched Karen.
Jamie Redford, who was a young boy and I was a young girl, and he said to me, "Would you like to go out with me?" And I said, "Go where?"
I'm a good Italian girl.
A good Italian girl.
Debbie said, "Here you are, here's my scarf, take that home with you." So I took that home with me and caressed it all night. Came back the next day and it was all off.
John, be honest.
Yeah.
Did you have a favourite?
Oh, yes, I did.
Is it anyone sitting here?
Yes, I did, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to keep that my own little secret.
Now, were these all goody two-shoes, all little angels, or were they little terrors on the set of Young Talent Time?
Shock, horror headline. Some of them were a pain in the bum sometimes. They really were. And some of them went through difficult periods in their development as human beings.
One of them was Deb Byrne, who told of her personal battles in a tell-all book a few years ago. In it, she claimed she was introduced to drugs, sex and alcohol during her time on the show. What was your reaction to the book?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question, because Deborah Byrne's book is a terrific, honest book. There's nothing in it. She has her feelings about things and some decisions I made and songs I chose and times she didn't like me and, you know, all that sort of stuff, and that's fine. It's an honest book. Buy the book. Read the book. There's nothing dishonest about it. What I disliked was that new idea created a story that was totally false, made up an absolute load of garbage about the book that was totally wrong. That's what I hated.
Juanita was one of two young people in the same car.
In 1993, former team member Juanita Coco was killed in a car crash. She was 17.
Going to Juanita's funeral was just the most horrific thing. Her mother was distraught, and she just looked at me and she said, "That's my baby, you know, that's my baby."
And just a few weeks ago, YTT lost another member. Julie Ryles died of a brain disease. Every Young Talent Timer knew that when they turned 16, they'd have to leave the show.
When it's your own, like last day, that is just the end of the world.
And we knew it was coming up, especially for me, and when that day came up, it was, I couldn't believe it, you know. It was uncontrollable tears.
In the end, Young Talent Time was cancelled suddenly at the end of the 1988 season. There was no farewell show, no chance to say goodbye.
We had a unique experience in Australian television together of a thing called Young Talent Time that I don't think anybody could ever repeat. I don't think you can create it. It just happened to us. And then while I'm away,
I'll ride home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you.
Good night, Australia.
What a great story. I didn't realise how much I'd forgotten. And there are more details about the team from Young Talent Time on our website.